about. It's like expecting what's ahead of us. We don't expect what's ahead of us because the people that lived it are telling us what we got to do and what we can't do. So they're like, don't do this, don't do that, don't think this way, don't think that way. So now we're stuck in the political atmosphere where people don't even have thinking for themselves because they've been told since children to live this way. They've been told to think that way, think this way, and this is what we're fighting against now.
Yes. We are fighting a psychological warfare. We are definitely fighting against some very creative people who always know how to get people fighting and getting them into...
Right. Yeah. I got a dog here. Look, I got a dog here too to play with. He don't even want to play with it. He was just playing with the dog all morning long. As soon as I start the video, now he want to come and get in the video. That's spin art. You a spin artist. You know what I mean? These kids are spin artists. And I'm like, listen, man, I was a spin artist too. You can't do it, kids. The kids is good. See, this is how you learn from the kids, right? The kids will show you exactly how free we can be as adults, you know, because it's like they are not motivated by deception. No. They're not motivated by deceit. No. They're not motivated by division. Only thing they're motivated is by their energy, and really it's love, because we have love to just live with free will how we want to live. Yep. It is not until we face the social constructs, the labels, the political identities, and such that you have, that we see the division start to arise. And it starts early because, you know, they start with different things like, oh, do you like this color or that color? Well, I don't like you because you like pink. I don't like you because you like purple or brown. I don't like, and it's weird because as adults, we overlook these things because we're so distracted by what appears to be such pressing, concerning issues. You know, and it's like when it comes to politics, when it comes to the bills, when it comes to the work, you got to get up and get to work and this and that. So it's like our minds are overwhelmed when they're not supposed to be. You know, because the kids, guess what? Their minds are not overwhelmed at all because their minds are just scrambling like they're just saying, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, and I could do whatever I want to do because this is like my world. And that's why I tell my son, I said, look, this is your world, but it's not just your world, it's everybody else's world as well. So you have to learn and understand that you can't be it, because the kids understand that they can be selfish if they want to be. That's what they think, you know. Mine. We teach them, or we show them that we are possessive. You know, we're possessive with these materialistic things, and we're possessive when it comes to money or whatever. So we're like, mine. So now when he gets toys, mine. This is mine. I don't want to share it with somebody else. I don't want to give somebody else this little bit of food that I got because it's my food. And I'm trying to teach him now, like, look, bro, that's not the mind frame you want. Stop feeding into what you see on TV. Stop feeding into what you see from other adults, because the adults do this and teach the kids. And I'm like, yo, I'm telling my own damn mama. I'm like, yo, what you teach? Don't be teaching them that. This is my own damn mama. It's like, mama, you taught me that crazy stuff. I ain't gonna let you teach my son that crazy shit either. Now. You know what I mean? Like, I love my mama. You know? It's like, mom, I mean, I like it, but look, you ain't gonna hit him with the same indoctrinated shit that you hit me with. I'm sorry, but it's a process, you know. And I'm working with her as well because look, my mother, my father, they need education. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like we all need to be changing the way we talk and communicate with each other. Yeah. We all need to be thinking about changing the way we view older individuals, younger, or people they say are scholars, people they say are educated, because everything is really fictitious in the realm of American thinking. It's illusions, or it's illusion. I don't know the perfect word for it, but it's like an illusion. And this grand illusion is we're all living right. We're all living fine. This existence that we're in is going along well, but it's just a couple of little bad incidents here and there that is what's the problem. You know, people really be like, oh, it's beautiful. Life is beautiful. Don't get me fucked wrong, right? Life is beautiful. Life is great. You wake up every day, life is amazing. But when you start to when you start to associate with those labels, when you start to associate with those political identities, that's when life gets bad. Because now you're like, oh, I got to be a progressive. So I got to go against this person. I got to go against them. So now you're making your life bad when you don't have to. When I gave away the progressivism, I gave away the political identities, life got easier. Because I realized that, yo, I'm really not divided from these people. I was only divided from those people because I wanted to be a damn progressive. Well, I thought I was only divided from the Hillbillies because I thought I had to be such a Bernie Sanders train guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I was on a Bernie Sanders train. And I realized, like, wait, what's going on here? What's wrong here? And I realized I was wrong. I was wrong for associating with labels and identities that didn't represent who I was. Like, I'm trying to say, like, the people who we individually represent is not being represented on the mainstream because we're being diluted with false identities.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna jump in there.
Sorry for rambling, G.
No, it's good. You hit a couple things as usual. So, but first of all, you weren't being wrong. You were born into it. It was given to you. The people around you were that, and so you go where you go, and most of us do that. But I think at a certain point in time, we wake up, and when we wake up, we realize we were scammed, and we got to be something better. And that's the whole, I think, voyage as a human being is how to be better, how to get to that next level and be better. There's some people who they lock in with the indoctrination and say, you know what? I'm good enough. I don't need to change. I'm this. I fit these labels and categories. I'm comfortable with that. I'm not going to change. And so it's a dangerous mindset, but I want to get back to the child rearing because we got your man. I love your man. Oh, he is just running all over. So here's my take on it. I'll tell you where I went wrong. I messed up as a father and over parenting, right? Because we're even indoctrinated in how we parent. Like, I think in the utopian world, it's not even utopian. That's the wrong word. I think
people like that word.
When we go back to being as smart as we used to be, we will let kids be kids. I don't think we're supposed to raise kids. I think we only do two things in guiding them. One, this is dangerous. Don't do this. Two, this is unproductive because I've done it. You shouldn't do this either. Those are the only things I think we're supposed to teach kids. Other than that, let them go. Let them run. Let them have fun. Let them figure things out. The only thing we don't want them to do is, one, you don't want them to die. You don't want them to hurt themselves, beyond repair. And two, you want them to do productive things for their life and the collective life of everybody else. But short of that, I think the kid should be running. I think he should be jumping on your neck. He should be pulling your ears. He should be putting his fingers in your nose. He should be going nuts because all that thing, it's just experiments. Like they're going and they're becoming who they're supposed to become. But we take our crazy, indoctrinated, sellout, colonized, slave mindsets and we lock it onto these kids, and they don't become the phenomenal creatures they should become. We won't let them stick their finger in our nose and taste it and realize it's salty. Daddy booger's salty. That's nasty. I'll never want to do that again. We gotta let the experiments play out. Let them.
My little guy eat the boogies.
Hey, it's a vaccination, man. That's the good thing. He vaccinated. He
I'm like, do what you want to do, kid. Because I ain't going to even fraud. I used to eat the boogies when I was little, too. I ain't going to fraud. I was one of the I'm like, boogies, but I never get it. I mean, people like, yo, you're nasty. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. Like, and I see him do it. Yo, what are you doing? No, close the door. Don't do nothing crazy unless you ask me first, okay?
Got you. Just pull back the day.
To piggyback on you, that's a great point. We're supposed to let kids be kids.
Let them be
kids. To touch on that a little bit more, we're supposed to let adults be adults. But it's like this. We are supposed to, in essence of my thinking, we're supposed to be kids forever. But not kids, but young forever. We're supposed to have that energy to just live freely. We're supposed to have that honesty that is unabated by any logic that says you have to be politically correct because others are going to be offended or whatever. Because I understand that we have to toe the line carefully when we're communicating with people and in a way that doesn't come off so harsh, But we have to be brutally honest. We must be brutally honest, and we must accept when people are brutally honest with us. We can't be. This is what I realized. when I like examine the political nature of things, people don't want to be honest with themselves. No. People don't want to blame themselves for their actions and their contribution to the way that things are being run in this country and the globe. But when you take your mindset away from all that negativity and the fear, because that's what I think it is, the fear of realizing that you are much more you are much more of a participant than you think. Yeah. You start to examine and evaluate your life. Right. And you start to realize, like, wait, I'm doing this here. I shouldn't be doing that. Or I'm doing this or I'm talking and not communicating to the persons or people that I should be. I need to change this. Yeah. And I changed a lot of things that I was doing because I realized that no label can define me. Okay. And I'm just an individual, and I've been placed into this existence that has been overran with social constructs, capitalism, oppressive regimes, colonialism, all these different isms, all these different labels, black, white, rich, poor, pretty, ugly, intelligent, dumb, all these different things. And I realized they don't even exist. No. They only exist to make us think and act in the way that we are doing.
To control us.
I don't know if you've seen last night, Jessica Short, I did a bit with her, and she was talking about social engineering, bro. Yeah. She talked about this book. It was called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And you know about that book, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, this is the stuff. She was talking about the stuff that I think in my mind, because what I did was this. I washed my mind completely from the labels. And I said, how am I going to come to understand what's going on right now in this time? And I realized I had to think like the ruling elites think. Do you understand it? And when I started to, I was like, how can I do that? I'm not rich like them. I'm not affluent like them. But I realized my mind is amazing. Your mind is amazing. Our minds are amazing. So we can break down the American indoctrination. We can break down the labels and all that in our minds and say, look, I'm going to think or try to put my mind in the elite shoes. Okay? Yep. When I did that, I realized they're going off of everything they were taught as well. Yep. Even though they're monsters and it's a sick nature, they're going based off of everything they were educated and indoctrinated to believe from their parents. Yep. So when you see racism in this era, it's because they're going off of the indoctrinated beliefs that they got from their parents to be racist.
Exactly.
When you see
I said, no, I said exactly. And it's...
But this, like, racism doesn't exist, though. No. People don't understand that racism doesn't exist. Racism exists because we allow it to. We use the terms and words and, what the hell are you doing? Don't be throwing no damn teddy bears at me. What's going to be crazy, little boy? Throwing stuff at me, you crazy. You throwing stuff, get out of here. Get out of here. Man, really, what are you doing?
All right.
Kid's crazy.
But it's an experiment. Hang on, whoa. It's an experiment. What happens if I hit daddy in the head with a teddy bear? What will be the long-term effects of this experiment? They get the teddy bear. Daddy ain't giving me no attention. I own Daddy don't own me. I own daddy. I'm going to hit him upside his head with a teddy bear. Let's see what happens.
He going to get his attention, whether they like it or not. He going to get his attention.
But you know what?
He's going to get their attention, man.
But you know what? But the awesome thing is, but this is how I know we're evolving, though. Because if I hit my daddy upside the head with a teddy bear, Chris would not be talking to me. My daddy would not be talking to me. If I took a teddy bear and I hit my daddy upside the head, oh no.
That ass would got whooped.
So I know
that behind when it got whooped. You know what I mean?
We're moving forward. We're moving. Yeah, my dad would not have been laughing at me. It wouldn't be no laughing happening.
No way. I thought about that too.
I thought about a lot of crying.
Real talk. I'm like, wait. My pop would have whooped my ass if I did that. And I think about the stuff that my son says to me, and it's like, wait, my pop wouldn't have let me get away with that. But I was like, okay, I get it. I get why he does it. That's the thing. Like, he thinks it's okay. But it's kind of like it's an understanding thing. So it's like he's young to the point.
It's the pullback. I was going to tie on what you're saying, but it's you're pulling him back because this is not productive, right? In times we gotta meet, we gotta talk, we gotta do these, and that's what you're doing. And that's why I kind of love him pulling on your neck. I know it gets to you, but to me, it's great because I can really see how we're changing and what you were just saying in terms of racism. Spot on, which is it doesn't exist. Somebody was handed that and they took it forward. And you don't fight that by blaming them for their indoctrination, yelling and screaming at them. You fix that by showing them their indoctrination was wrong. You're not a foul person. You're not this. You're not that. You're not lazy. You're not all the lies they were given. You show them the opposite, and we get rid of this racism thing, and it goes away. But it's all indoctrination. It's they put you in this label, and Martin Luther King figured that out a long time ago. That's why I hate talking about racism, because it's stupid to me. We know how to fix it. You fix it with love. You don't fix it with signs, yelling, and screaming. You fix it by loving people. You fix it by
you're racist. You this it.
Right, and it's retarded. Like that's how you perpetuate it. That's how you make it worse. That's how you expand it and you infect more people with it. You fight it. So, but by the same token, which is part of what we talked about yesterday, which is the whole DNC thing and Russia took
that's what we're talking about. I want to talk about this, talk about this.
What they do is they give you the label, you're a progressive, and so here are the boxes you have to check. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do, and so you're locked into this. To have this label, this is what you're supposed to do. It's just a means of controlling you. Having a label is just like having shackles in slavery. But today, back then, you had to grab somebody, hold them down, and put shackles on them, and make them and keep the chains on.
And make them, you have to make them.
People are shackling themselves. They're putting the chains on, and they're making sure the links are nice and strong and tight, because I'm going to check all the boxes, and when the DNC tells me I'm supposed to vote for Hillary Clinton, I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Make that chain tight and make sure it's shiny. I know I don't like her. I know she's evil. I know she murdered people. I know she's crazy. I know she put more black people in prison than anybody alive today, but I'm going to keep voting for her, even though she did the crime bill, right? They locked in with that label and the indoctrination control that comes with it. But this is why I'm happy today. This is why I'm hopeful today. Because what we saw, and I like Bernie. I wasn't a Bernie guy. I've always been an independent, but I was But what I appreciate is you had all these people who were with the Bernocrat revolution that I'll talk about Bernie, because Bernie's going a different direction now, but I will never talk about people who stood up with Bernie. Those people, they give me a lot of hope. And the reason why they give me a lot of hope is they saw the change. They realized that label left progressive Democrat was being used to keep this plantation steaming along. They realized when he flip-flopped and he said, y'all need to vote for Hillary, they knew the fix was in. They knew the rig was in. And so now it comes to the modern lawsuit. So what is the lawsuit about? Well, can I show you something? I want to show you something. Can I?
What you got to show me? What you got? Let me see this,
I want to show you something. I'm going to go back.
I can talk about this lawsuit all day long, man.
Let me see if I got it. It's low tech. Let me turn the volume. Tell me if you can hear it clear. I want to show you something. Little walk back in history, because we've been here before.
About me. If you be good all the time.
To burglarize or bug its national headquarters. Accordingly, it is suing for $1 million. If it works, if they win the suit, it'll be a new and quite novel way of raising political money, a device no one has ever used before. The Democrats are $9 million in debt, and if they win, if they should squeeze $1 million out of the Republicans, that will be just 1/9 of what they need to pay off their old campaign debts. It is not clear why, if the Democrats are intent on suing, why they didn't sue the full amount they need, $9 million.
I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to simply say, we've been here before, and this is what this lawsuit is about. Suing Trump campaign, suing Russia, suing, who else they suing? Russia, they're suing Pikachu,
WikiLeaks.
Big WikiLeaks. They're suing everybody. And so what is this? To me, I think this is about...
They doing us. Shit, they might as well sue us too. Sue us too.
Right. Meanwhile, I have friends who gave hundreds and some that gave thousands of dollars
man.
to the Bernie campaign. They can't get a dime of that back. You know,
you ain't getting none of that back.
They ain't get none of it because the DNC is above the law. They don't ever the law is for you. The law is not for them. And so now I think this is about two things. I think one, they're broke, right? We know that Hillary Clinton bought the DNC. We know that. They had the debts. They were living in poverty. The Republicans had the money. The Democrats needed it. And so Hillary bought the Democratic Party. So now it actually is the CNC. It's the Clinton National Convention. She owns it, right? This lawsuit is about, one, raising capital, and it's about, two, they want the FBI and anybody they can going through Trump's stuff. They want him going through his lawyer stuff. They want to find something because they do know something. They know for a fact that Russia had nothing to do with the election. But they also know for a fact that you don't get to be a billionaire in the United States of America without being dirty. They know when they start when they start digging through his personal stuff, and they won't find anything, I think, connecting to Russia or anything like that. But I guarantee you that you find where Trump is dirty, because Trump is dirty. He has to be. There's no way you make that amount of money doing something wrong. And so to me, all this is it's a warrant. They want a series of warrants to go in there and start digging through this wealthy guy's stuff. And eventually, it might be something like tax fraud. It might be something completely unrelated to anything important. But what they need is they need to go after him. They need to find something to try to impeach him, because what it's going to do is it's going to push the left further to the left, the people who don't get it. And it's going to push the right further to the right. The right's going to protect Trump. The left is going to rally behind it. And it's all about division. The same people run all of these people. The same people who love Clinton, they love Trump too. They're all in the same club. We're not in it. But they need, which is what you and Jessica was talking about last night, which was the whole social engineering. This is just another way to keep people, to push them back to their extreme sides, to undo the progress that I think is being made, and people waking up and realizing all of this is fixed. That's what I think is happening.
That's a good way to look at it, I think. That's a good way to look at it. That's a good angle, because it's always interesting to see the little battles that they're facing with each other. But I think it's more along the lines of like how we think and communicate, you know, when it comes to this political realm and this political atmosphere. So if you take the DNC fraud lawsuit, the real lawsuit that people should have been worried about, you realize that got no mainstream media coverage at all.
Not at all.
Why?
What lawsuit?
Why would the DNC fraud lawsuit that was going on behalf of the voters that say they care, the voters that are claiming they care about elections, they claim they care about the systematic. They claim that this is what's confusing me, G. But I get it. I got it all, G. I don't get it all, but I'm getting it. I'm gonna tell you like this. The people say they care. The Democratic Party knows that the people don't really care. They know that the people need a bone. They need a bone to chew on to stay complacent until it comes time to vote. Not only do they need a bone to chew on, but they need dirt or drama to salivate over. People love, especially on, I'm realizing something, Facebook, people love drama, like the people that watch Real Housewives of New York, or that watch hip-hop, Love and Hip-Hop. These people have a different type of thirst for drama. You know, they thirst for that social drama, like, oh, these people ratchet, and I love the ratchetness, this and that. The political people, they thirst for that political drama. That is all bullshit. The DNC fraud law or the DNC lawsuit that they're holding or lobbying against Trump, Russia, and WikiLeaks is distractions. But it's not just a distraction. It is what you would call deception. Because what they're doing is deceiving a mass of Democratic voters, okay? And the voters need somebody to blame. Because they don't, like I said earlier, they don't want to blame themselves. They don't want to hold themselves accountable. So as long as the mainstream is presenting them someone that they can blame, or they can think they can blame, the voters will stay on ice. I guess you could say the Democratic Party has a mass of voters on ice right now because they don't want to seek out and research the truth. So they're waiting for everything that mainstream media gives them. So mainstream media knows that mainstream media is, I guess, in a state where their credibility is falling off. Honestly, the credibility of mainstream media is done anyway. But people don't know this. People don't know this because they haven't looked anywhere other than mainstream media. So now, when the DNC or CNN, MSNBC, they're going to talk about this for weeks. Jabbar, they're going to talk about this for weeks. Nothing. Bullshit. I know there's nothing there. The Democratic Party knows there's nothing there. Trump is laughing at it because I'm not one of the people that like Trump, but I understand what Trump is doing. You understand? You got to put yourself in his mind. Trump is living his greatest life because he's a billionaire. He doesn't care about people. He cares about his money. He doesn't care about the Democrats or the Republicans because he owns them both. You know why he owns them? He's smarter than them.
Way smarter.
This is what people don't realize. People are like, oh, Trump is dumb. Trump is this, Trump is that. That's the mainstream media giving you that fucking logic. And then I guess when Trump presents himself, he always does it good to just make sure that people think he's this crazy guy and this and that. But it's spin. Trump is actually fucking smart. Trump is actually a great fucking businessman because guess what? He's been doing it all his fucking life. He's been living around it. He's been bred in this stuff. So he knows the game that we don't know, that many don't know, which is business. Trump knows business well. Trump knows business better than you. The smartest business person that think, oh, I know business and this and that. Well, president, for real? He just did that on a whim to show people that, look, I can be a boss of all bosses if I wanted to be. And he won because of the climate that we're in of indoctrination. We're not getting the right information that we need to say, look, we can shut this shit down. We don't have to believe none of it. This is fake. The media is lying to us. The government is deceiving us. The corporations are taking control of everything around us. And we're just falling in. We're waiting for the next little bit of drama from politics to just suck on until it comes voting season. And you know what people are going to do? Oh, you got to vote because Donald Trump and Russia rigged the elections, so you have to vote in the same elections that was rigged without their elections being changed or fixed. And it's like, wait a minute, you're going to vote when they didn't change the way the elections or change the voting system? You're going to vote? But yet this is another one. The Democratic Party voters, the Democratic Party people, running a file. Oh, the elections, the elections were hacked. The election down, they rigged the elections. They rigged this and that, Russia rigged. So if they rigged the elections, why are you going to go and vote again in the midterms if they didn't fix the rigging of the elections?
Because I was told to, Chris. I was told to. Massa came down from on high and said, progressives, vote. And guess what they're going to do? Massa said we got to vote. They're going to shine the chains up, make sure the shackles are nice and tight, and they're not going to change anything. Because plantation life ain't that carpet now. They got air conditioning.
Wall, man.
The plantation life is nice, and so
you can get solar now. You can get solar energy, guys. Hey, you guys want to you can get a little bit cheaper energy, man. Like you did a good. Listen, you did a bit on the night and all shit. I'm like, man, that blew my mind. You feel me? I'm like, man, this is crazy because this is the stuff I'm telling you. This is stuff I think that the electrical grid they're running is free. We're paying for free electricity all across America, but people don't know it because guess what? We're not inside enough.
No.
There are people that are inside that know these things, but they can't. It's like a gag order. The government, they all got gag orders. They can't talk about XYZ, XYZ places. You know, the FBI, they got gag orders. They see everything has gag order. The electric industry, please believe they got a gag order as well. The cable industry, please believe they have a gag order as well. So the cable, think about all the millions of, or not millions, but thousands and thousands of people that are working for the cable companies. Doing the cable companies' bidding, but they can give us the information that we may need to figure out a way to make our own cable system. But people don't think like, see, this is what I realized that people have to do. I don't want to say think like a crook because it's not thinking like a crook, but think strategically. If you're working at a company, if you're working at a position that is on the inside or inside of a corporation that is on the inside.
Yeah.
We need to be using the information that we get out of these corporations and sharing it with each other. We need to be sharing the information of how they're scheming on each other. We need to be sharing the information of how they're doing certain groups of people dirty. Like the healthcare business, they're on an attack against lower income individuals because these lower income individuals have nowhere else to turn because they don't have the education and we don't have systems set up in place to where we can provide for them. So they still fall for the same tactics. Oh, these people are here to help. I have nowhere else to go, so this is the only place I can go. And we're sitting here like, well, we're going to fight for healthcare for all. You're going to fight, but individually, you're not helping the people around. This blows my mind, Jim.
Yeah, but
people.
Yes, but that's the thing. And so you have to listen to the whistleblower. I think we have to listen to the elite. Listen to what the elites and their actors are constantly talking about and look between the cracks. If the elites were talking about whistleblowers, we're gonna make it a good time for whistleblowers when Obama gets in office. We're gonna make sure that the whistleblowers has a voice. We're gonna protect them. We're gonna write legislation so the whistleblowers can say the truth of what's happening because these horrible corporations and Washington greed are destroying the world. And as soon as Obama got in, the war on whistleblowers begun. They start They start throwing them in prison. They're fleeing because the whole point is the number one rule about Fight Club is you can't talk about Fight Club, right?
Talk about Fight Club.
That's how all of this goes. And so I think that they know that the insiders in the plantation will actually tell us the things you just said. Now is the time for people to listen to the whistleblowers. Now is not a time to critique the whistleblowers. Now is a time to put aside ignorance and what you think about Manning, what you think about Snowden, what you think about the CIA whistleblowers, what you think about even in the healthcare industry, even Seth Rich. You know, now is the time to listen to the other slaves who got a little idea of what's happening on our plantation. Now's not the time to listen to Master Moore and, go do what Master says more. Now's the time to listen because the whistleblowers, they don't pick sides. They just come out and they say, look, I was in the shed. Master had us. Sharpening the machetes. Sharpening the Julian name on it. The other name had Bob on there. Lisa had her name on it. They're sharpening machetes. Now's not the time to say, I don't believe that. That's not true. Now's not the time to say, oh, well, those machetes going to be just for those people. They're not going to be for us. No, when the whistleblowers, when they come out, they've never picked sides. They say, look.
They play everybody better watch out.
Your government or this corporation is doing foul things. These foul things are not only illegal, they're unethical, they're immoral, they're lying, it's unconstitutional, it's against the Bill of Rights, they're murdering people all over the planet. Y'all need to do something. And the position of the fool, the indoctrinated, ignorant fool is, I don't believe that. And they come back. But, but the thing is, but even people who listen to whistleblowers, people who we call truthers, people who want to know the truth and things, they're even turning on whistleblowers. Like, this is how sick the social engineering and the psychological games are, because now they're saying Assange is controlled opposition. They're saying Manning is controlled opposition. Bernie is controlled opposition. And they're going, and so my place in this is simply this. Listen to what people say. Right? When what they say next avoids the protection of the 99%, it goes against what they said 5 minutes ago, then okay, maybe they are controlled opposition in that point. But who cares? Maybe they don't know what's going on in that point. Who cares? When that came out originally, they did something good. He started a Bernie revolution, and he turned all these people against the Democratic Party. When Trump came out, he started a revolution. He turned all of these people who didn't vote into voters to vote against the ridiculous Republicans who were running, which were all Democrats anyway, because Democrats and Republicans are all the same party. And so, and eventually they'll do things based on what the plantation tells them, right? Because they got a machete for them too. They aren't running things. At a certain point, Trump has to do what he's told to do. Obama had to do what he was told. Bernie has to do, you know, and so
we told you,
you know, so but
that's what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for, though.
Yeah, I mean that's what you signed up for, right? You signed up for
it. People don't understand what you signed up.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's crazy. It's good you said that. Because look, it's like any other job. It's like any other job, Gerard. Look, when you go to work, you go to the job, you go to fill out an application for position, you know what that job entails. Mm-hmm. You know you can only say so much. You know you can't say nothing to the big bosses. You know you ain't going to go in the big boss office and say, look, I want to do this my way. That's why the big bosses ain't listening to you. It's the same with the government. It's a corporation. These politicians, even Donald Trump, they get into office, but they can't say nothing to the big bosses. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want to do within the lines that they set up, the parameters they set up for you to work. And that's what Donald Trump does. So I can make money off of the military. I can make billions here. I can make billions here. Oh, I can get land in Puerto Rico too. I can get a part of Puerto Rico with all the Democrats and Republicans. The Democrats, the Republicans, Donald Trump, they all got a piece of Puerto Rico. We ain't got none. The people ain't got none of Puerto Rico. And this is right under our noses. Because guess what? We care about politics and division and shit like that. So like what you're saying is we got to step away from the labels in order to open our minds up for massive information.
Right.
We can't sit there and play the game of these politicians to where it's like, hey, be against them. This is what, so when I retracted the verdict thing, I went back and examined everything. Like, you know what I mean? I had to examine everything. I mean, this was really hard. But I'm like, all right, let me go back and examine everything. I started from the beginning. When I first started to like him, I didn't know who he was. And I realized, all right, I watched the debates within mind that I was entered. This is how fast I've turned, okay? I didn't know, I wasn't staying with the political stuff, but I knew Obama was fraud. I knew Hillary Clinton was fraud because of the Libya stuff. And I'm like, Joe Biden, to me, Joe Biden struck me as like, you know, one of those old dudes that presented themselves as nice and clean cut and this and that, but you just can't trust them. You know what I mean? Behind closed doors, that's where the scheming is done, you know. But in front of your face, they're smiling, they shake your hand, smile, pleasantries. And this is people are good at this. I observe people in life, you know what I mean, and see how people switch up in atmospheres. So, in order for people to understand how these politicians are, they have to observe how people switch up in different atmospheres. Around this group of friends, you're going to act a certain way. When you get around that group of friends, you're going to change up. Yep. Me, I'm like, no, fuck that. Don't change up. Be yourself. But people can't do that because they're so used to having a representative represent them in certain atmospheres. You know what I mean? I got a representative for this atmosphere. I got a representative for that atmosphere. I got a representative at work. Motherfuckers even got representatives at church. They send in a representative to church. Because soon as they leave church, they real person, I'm out of church so I can be me now. But I'm at church, I'm holding it down. Listen, Lord Jesus, leaving church. We don't want to get some drinks, y'all. We don't want to get some drinks. I done came from church. God has blessed me. And I'm like, yo, that's a representative because that's not really you.
No.
I'm not. I realized I was being representative of myself in all different groups. And I'm thinking like, why? Why would I do that? I don't have to be that. I want to be me as free as I can be.
Be you.
And if that means I'm crazy in people's eyes. You know what I mean? Because I realize, hey, I ain't really crazy. You know what I mean?
You hit on a lot of powerful things there. Be you. You know, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm laughing here. The first thing that came to my mind, I was thinking about dating. You know, you go on a date. The guy, he knows he got 8 pairs of shoes. They all got holes in them. They're dirty, they're nasty, they stink, they smell like Jim. But he wears the nice shoes. You know, he's got jeans with holes, and he wears the nice pants, and he puts on his good Sunday suit. He doesn't brush his teeth, but he brushes his teeth. He barely combs his hair. He gets a nice hair comb, get it laid, line, dyed to the side. And she'll on a date. What does she do? She does the same thing. She'll spend hours getting ready, put on the nice shoes and a nice dress. You know, look in the mirror, start making faces in the mirror. You know, trying to look cute. You know,
you're gonna do it tonight, right? You're gonna do it, and you know how I do it, be like that. Damn, I'm the fool. Let me get that spray on my neck. Let me get that spray up on my neck, bitch. I smell good. You might get me. I'm looking good, y'all. She gonna love me. She gonna love this representative of me.
inside of the car got bugs. Plants growing in the car. I start pulling the plants out of the carpet, washing it down. You know, and
you gonna use the good. You gonna use the good perfume. I ain't using the sheet stuff tonight. It's the good stuff night. You know what I mean?
Get the good, but you know, and it's what. But then they get there too, so he's a little nervous, right? He sits down at the bar, he shows up a little early because he knows he's a little nervous. She's way out of his league, so he needs to step up his representative a little bit.
Yeah, gotta step up a little bit.
So he orders that cognac. He gets a little, order some of that Mad Dog 2020. Order some beer, some wine, something to loosen him up a little bit. You know?
You can't drink that cheap wine tonight, baby. No cheap wine tonight. You got to go. You can't get the normal $10 bottle of wine. You got to go to the 40 because you got to impress. You got to represent something else. And this is the shit, yo, bro. I realized, look, I'm being dead ass honest. I took a step back from dating, okay, just for the last couple of months because I had to understand it all. And that point you made is it. The dating game is so messed up because everybody's putting out a representative of who they are. They're not putting out the true person of who they are because inside they are afraid of what other people might think about them for no reason. They're afraid because of the indoctrination of American society and what they tell us to feel and think and believe. So now we believe it. Oh, if I just be my natural self, if I just be me in the way that I am and the way that I exist, nobody's going to like me. So I have to put on this makeup. I have to put on this clothes and this whatever. And it's like, this is how we're trying to be accepted in society. So now we've already bought into the mental dysfunction of the individual who we are. And now the outer dysfunction of society is all around us because you have a bunch of individuals who are afraid to just let themselves be themselves.
Be themselves. And the same problems you have in a marriage where people lie themselves from the first date, they lie themselves up into these phony people of who they aren't into a marriage, and then the divorce and the destabilization and the kids and all of that nonsense. It's the same thing that's happening in the political system right now.
Sir.
Because people aren't being honest. They're being phonies. Nope. And this is why I love this family that we seem to be building. I love this truth community. People are just telling the truth. Because when you say the truth, you can be yourself. And if you can be yourself, then that marriage, that government, that political party, whatever it is, it'll actually be honest and it'll be sustainable because everybody were actually being truthful. They weren't fake. We're trying to make you think something. And that's the fun thing about the truth is the truth actually doesn't need your help. It doesn't need your creativity. It doesn't need your intellect. The truth will stand on its own. And if you say the truth, the chips will fall how they're supposed to, and things in this world will go the way they should go.
They should.
And that's what the political parties don't want. And this is what I took from your talk last night, which was that all of this social engineering is really trying to keep the chips falling in a certain place. They're trying to keep the chips falling selectively. They convince people to sell out other groups of people to force the chips to fall for the left or to force the chips to fall for the right, and it screws the other side. And so you hit it spot on. We send out and I'm not gonna say we on this one, but most people show up with their representative. They know their political party is foul. They know that people they're with are foul, and they know that they're lying, and they're screwing their other neighbors. And this is why I think we got to pull back to a position of not being hypocrites, and standing up as much for the other side as we do ourselves. Whatever we feel we're indoctrinated, put yourself in the shoes of that other person. If they were born to be racist, what do you think is going to happen? I like that example. I'm going to go back to that example for just one moment. Because think about it like this. Trump was born into a racist family, hands down. Loved the KKK. That's what his father loved, and his father tried to walk him into it. But the reality is, did he become that? No, he didn't. And no one, and my Trump friends will love this one, but I am going to give him credit for this. He was born and raised and indoctrinated to become a racist the same way many were born indoctrinated to become a leftist.
Yeah, or American, or
whatever it is. But he didn't do that. He actually, for whatever reason, whether it's society, his brain, luck will have it, that he became a guy who on Martin Luther King's birthday, Black History Month, whatever these little holidays people like that. I think it's every day, but you know, every day.
Yeah, every day is every day. Yep, every day.
Woman Day is every day to me. But he went from this guy who's supposed to hate everybody to a guy who's praising Black folks in the civil rights movement on Black history. And so instead of giving him credit for that, the position
and he's racist. And Black people, he's racist.
Exactly. So instead of giving him credit for, now is he as forward thinking as most people would like? Absolutely not. But is he forward than what he was raised, indoctrinated to be?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And so this is why I'm saying that our battle is with the mirror, because most people they turned out to be the exact indoctrinated person they were raised to be. But this man who's a president, he actually fought back to his. He's not full-blown progressive. He's not full-grown conservative. He's not.
He wouldn't be president if he was like that. You feel me? He wouldn't have ran for president. You know?
Right, but the problem is he cheated. Right? He had money. Yeah. He was that little kid who was allowed to be free. He was allowed to go and
money
on daddy's ears and go and didn't get in trouble. And this is why I'm saying he's a rich prick. He's a billion. He's all of these things, you know, but he's not the enemy. He is not.
No, he's not the enemy like people think he is. Right. Yeah, he's not the enemy like people think he is.
He is a guy who was born in the system, and he was born in the right spot in the plantation, and he became mostly of what he was raised to be, like most of us are. Our problem is with the system. And the only way we fix the system is we stop fighting with people like that. We stop. And this gets back to the whole DNC lawsuit nonsense. People go for it because they hate Trump. Well, I'm gonna say that another way. I'm gonna say it another way. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Okay. Yeah, you might have to.
People go for it and they support it because they're stupid enough to hate Trump. The same way people went for Obama's impeachment because they were stupid enough to hate Obama and not actually completely understand how this system works.
Right. That's so true, man. And you touched a lot of good points there too. And that is so true, brother, because people just hate Trump for no reason.
No reason.
They hate Trump because of the indoctrination that they think they should believe. And it's like, this is why I've left the progressive community, because I realized it wasn't what it was really piped up to be. I really thought it was going to be something where people came together and eliminated the divisive hate rhetoric because it was about love and community.
Right.
When I realized that it was overshadowed with hate and division and political identities, I said, I'm going to step back because this is not my thinking. My thinking was never about political identities or hate and division. You know, I didn't support Bernie Sanders because I wanted to be a progressive and I wanted to divide myself up from a group of massive people. I supported Bernie Sanders because of the issues that he was speaking on, like free college, health care, and a bunch of different other things. Like, people didn't take the issues as more concerning than the figures behind what they were saying. So when it came down to the election, people fell for the Trump okie doke and rhetoric instead of sticking to the baseline issues that we were dealing with. Because if you remember back to the general election, the debates were not even really touching on the real core issues. It was more about, Donald Trump is guilty of this, and that, and we got to try to find some way to expose them. And we got to try to make some way to make Donald Trump look like this mean, green giant bad guy. And it's like, that was the rhetoric. That was the information. People didn't process any issues in the general election. People didn't process any issues.
Oh, can I say it another way?
Yeah.
The issues I only saw two issues, and both sides had one issue. I wasn't on either one. One of them is, I have a vagina. And the other one was, I'm not Hillary Clinton. And and I think that's why 90-some% of the people voted the way that they did. And that to me, and there were none of the issues. War wasn't an issue. Healthcare wasn't. states' rights wasn't an issue. Gun rights wasn't an issue. TPP wasn't an issue. All this stuff that everybody thought was going to go a different way, it didn't.
Right.
World War III was not an issue. None of these things are presidents actually given options for. None of these things do voters have options for, because none of the issues are actually real. They know that we care about them, so they'll mention them, but when they're in office, they're going to do what they're told to do. And until people grow up and actually realize that is how this world works on greed, we're not going to get anywhere.
That's true. And I wanted to touch on a point you mentioned earlier about the truth and how the truth does matter. So when we're truthful with each other, we're not going to expect any fraudulence in the future. You know, when you carry a truth, when you carry the truth or the truthful nature of living and acting, you don't have to worry about those negative things coming your way in the future, because you weren't acting in hate and divisiveness or deception. Now, it's like the whole karma thing, like whatever. When you act out in a way that is against the truth, because nature is just evident. The truth wins. The truth, nature is the truth.
Always,
you know what I mean? You don't think that the only thing that bad happens to nature is when man does it.
That's it.
Nature is just the truth. Nature does what it does because it just is. Now, when we act and the way we act, it's going to be done soon, Carter. All right, give me a break. You watching your stuff, but we have to talk and speak the truth to each other, whether it is harsh, whether it comes off as offensive. It's not offensive because you're coming from a nice place in your heart to try to relate to somebody that they need help or they need to look in the mirror. You know, like you said, it's about the man and the woman in the mirror. We have to look at ourselves in the way that we think. We have to understand how we were taught and trained. This is the one thing that people don't understand. How you were taught and trained to think determines how you will act right now. People just like, oh, well, I'm not indoctrinated. I'm like, voting is the right way. Voting, but who told you that voting was the way? Why do you think that there is no other way to fix what's going on in the system other than voting? Who made you think that? Where did you get that logic from?
I gotta jump in. I got an example. Baby, does this dress make me look fat? Got a question. We are indoctrinated to lie. We're told to lie. We even think the lie is funny. We think the lie makes sense. And in reality, the answer to that question, you know what? But Chris, let me say something. Can I say something? I'm gonna say something.
Say it, man. You got to say it.
That's probably why I'm not married today. But I'm gonna answer the question.
Bro, you never lie. Listen, listen. I love my son's mother to death, right? I love her to death, but she don't know it. She don't know the shit. She don't understand it. Cause you gotta keep it. You always want to keep it real. You always miss to keep it real. I'm like, I'm not trying to keep it real. No, I don't want to keep it real. I just want to be damn honest with you. I ain't gonna lie like you want. I said, look. If you want the motherfuckers that's gonna lie to you, fine. Go out there and you'll find what you're looking for. But when you coming around me, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I love you too much. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you what I learned though, because you hit a powerful truth right there. You gotta say the truth, but you gotta say it with love. You gotta say it with love, because that's what will keep that marriage together. That's what will keep her from throwing your television out the window. That'll keep you to keep from burning your BMW.
Oh, he want to be funny, huh? He want to be smart, right?
What you do? You pause. You know, so, baby, does this dress make me look fat? And in your mind, you got to process it and say, you know what?
Right, you got to process the right answer.
That dress does not make you look fat. You are fat, baby. You are fat. You can't say that. You can't say it because you've been eating. Winter time came. Baby, you bake too good. You make them apple pies and the biscuits and stuff we eat together. And I know I'm wrong because I'm overeating too, and I shouldn't be overeating. And we both getting big. And so you have to process all of this in your head and answer the question, in love and the right. Say, you know what, baby, the dress doesn't make you look fat. But we've been eating a little too much gluten. We should probably eat a little more organic. And you know what? Let's see. Here are my favorite pair of pants, and I just put these on. You show how you gotta try to struggle to get them up. Your belly hanging out, and you got to be honest and say, baby, do these jeans make me look fat? And say, no, you know what? We are both getting old. We both don't look the way we used to. The honest truth is, we both should stop trying to look like we're 25 and go ahead and look like we're 54. And the reality is, I don't care how you look, baby. I'm with you because I love you. I could care less. Now, if you want to market to these people who are looking for somebody who's 25, then I can't help you. But if you are marketing yourself to me, when we get back from dinner, it's on. I'm a have candles and
you already know,
I'm looking at you in that dress, and we about not to go to dinner.
We gonna have a good night. We gonna have a good girl. That dress, we gonna have a good night. That dress.
Where's my?
Don't worry about how you look, baby. We gonna have a good night.
I'm popping, but it's to me, it's examples and it's funny, but it's real and it's honest.
Real.
Because
real.
We grew up. You and I grew up about that same time. People like to say, keep it real. Keep it real.
Yeah,
but the reality was, we weren't keeping it real because we didn't know all sides of the debate. You can't keep it real until you know everything.
Talk about it. Damn, that's real. You can't keep it real until you know everything.
Right, because until you
get in there, you know what I mean?
Until you know the whole story, that Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, until you know the whole story from the people that you're told not to talk to, you can't keep it real because you don't know what's real.
Real talk about it.
You don't know what's real. It's like gun control. You get on gun control, but you can't keep it real because you don't actually know what's real. Which is why, like I said, I don't say anything about this guy, David Hogg. He's a child, right? Okay. He doesn't know anything. He can't keep it real.
Right.
The only thing he knows,
he indoctrinated too. And his people like, John, what's up? David Hogg this, David Hogg that. I'm like, yo, the kid's indoctrinated too. And you guys are picking on little kids out here now. Like, he's I don't care how old he is. Right. You're grown enough to understand that he may be indoctrinated too. The geniuses, and we wasted weeks and means on this guy. Yo, I'm serious, but we got a problem. Go upstairs and get dressed so we can go outside. All right, get dressed.
Yeah.
All right, but we can dress. That's real though.
But that's spot on. And so the thing is that kid, he's saying, I'm hurting. You know, some people say he's lying. Some people say it didn't happen. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is the fact that he's saying he's hurting on the inside. And whether he's hurting or not, whether he's making it up, whether he's not trying to make a career for himself or not, none of that matters. We know bad things happen. We know kids in this society, kids in Yemen, kids in the Congo, kids in Palestine. We know they're hurt. And so stop looking and seeing David Hogg and see a child saying, adults, this world doesn't work for us. This world is dangerous. This world is violent. You guys need to go be real, and you need to fix our world. Now, don't listen to his solution because he's a child. You're not supposed to listen to his solution. You're supposed to listen to his pain. You're supposed to listen to his passion. Go away, talk to the other side, figure out what in the world do you not know, so you can come back and keep it real and all-encompassing. There is no progression. Like, there is no true progressive unless you know the whole story. You're not progressing anything. Your own agenda or the agenda of your leaders, your selective billionaires. We need to know the whole story for it really to be progress. There is no progress without the conservatives, without the Muslims, without Palestine, without Israel, without all sides. That's the only way we can keep it real. We need to actually know. We need to think about the whole picture. Right?
Yeah, that's so true. And that's why when my deep programming that I do, that's what it's in line with the whole spectrum of things that are going on. The whole scope of peoples, the whole scope of I think I can't help but spit on your face. You right there. Because I spit on your face. Let me get a nugget real. Get this guy a nugget. You want to say, get a nugget. Get some butt out of here. Just get that nugget and go. But look, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who don't understand other groups of people. He's waving. Say, what's up, man? They don't understand other groups of people. So they go with the thinking that is just aligned with progressive thinking. So I see this, and I've witnessed this for the last year. Progressives have no clue what's going on. No clue. And when I started to read it, I'm talking about black progressives, white any progressives. Not everybody though. Not everybody. Yo, I just told you don't scream.
Let's be fair.
You're sitting right next to me. I don't have to. If you're not sitting right next to me, I ain't gonna be yelling in your damn ear. What you talking about? I'm doing that.
Let's be fair and let's say progressives, they know what's happening in their communities. They know what's happening in their life. They know their people. That's what I mean. But the greater sense, right? They don't know the greater sense, right?
Yeah, they haven't stepped outside the box of their community to try to dig down deep to understand the conservative community. Outside of just, they're Trump voters. Right. Those are Trump voters, so I don't want nothing. If you can vote for Trump, I want nothing to do with you. And this and that. And this I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on. Didn't you vote for Obama? Oh, you can get it, hold on. You get a pass for voting for Obama, but people can't get a pass for voting for Trump. Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to get the thing up straight right now. So I'm like, so wait. You're not gonna call out Obama for the facts of the 8 years that he was president? No? Okay, so that's when I get people. That's why I start with people. Are we going to call out Obama? Okay, we're not. So therefore, where we're at in this conversation is full-fledged indoctrination.
Yes.
Because if you can call out Trump,
but I think I know why.
Obama,
I think I know why. Let me hit you with this. I have a theory. Right. I think I know why, though. So, because, and I was watching a TV show last night, and it was called, what was the name of that show? Superstore. Great, funny show. Okay. But anyway, the point was, there was a point where there was a lady, and she said, she dated some guy and got pregnant, whatever, because her mind wasn't right, because she said, I still miss Obama, right? When people say that, they're saying something. There's a reason why they say that. Right after the election, there was this big thing that went out. I was fighting people left and right because they would say, if you voted for Trump, you're racist because Trump is racist and the racists voted for Trump or whatever. And I was calling people, I was fighting hard as I could for my friends who I know are not racist. They love my kids to death, but they felt he was the right choice. I was fighting to death with him. But I think it's racism. I think people are still saying, I miss Obama. I won't call out Obama. They're still posting pictures about Obama because they don't want to seem racist, because they bought this whole idea that anyone who is against Obama is racist. That was, remember, that was the whole narrative with the monkey pictures and the ears in the newspaper. And if you voted for Trump, so basically they're boxing people into a corner where you can't even speak your mind unless without seeming that you fall in this racist category. And this is why you have to break down the indoctrination in this whole racism thing, which is why I hate talking about it, but it always comes up because it's one of these indoctrinated things that's preventing anything from changing, which is why I tell everybody there's nobody more racist alive right now on this planet than Hillary Clinton, because there is nobody who's killed more in a minority group more than Bill and Hillary Clinton, who were behind the crime bill. No one put more people in cages than they did. And if the majority of people who identify with the groups that they put in prison and they killed with the war on drugs and the crime bill and the welfare reform act, something really, really sick in the psychological understanding. But we got to get past this racism thing. We got to go pick up where Martin Luther King left off, that we all have to work together. White folks, they got to go back to calling a spade a spade. Obama was not a good president. He was not. He was a horrible president. He was a sellout. He was indoctrinated to the military-industrial complex. He was indoctrinated to the big banks. Does that personally mean that I don't like Obama? No, it doesn't. I think he's a good guy. I think as a senator, he said very smart, intelligent, and good things. And I think he actually meant well. But that office of presidency does not work the way we think it does. And it's the same thing with Trump. The office of the presidency does not work the same way we think it does. But I think that's why we have to take on this racism thing. That if people want to really fight racism, you really want to do a solid for the Mexican community or the African community or, you know, whoever you think is being attacked, you need to listen to Martin Luther King. You need to listen to Gandhi. You need to listen to people who actually took on racism and won, and actually won people over, right? Not just one.
Yeah.
Didn't
got people across the aisle.
Prison with a hate law where you can take somebody who says a word and put them in prison for hate, you know, and doing to them what you feel they did to you, but to go and love them and show them who you are. And healing that racism, getting completely extincting it, curing it, getting rid of it. We got to go back to being smart and listen to the people with the experience, not those lying to us with black skin who are selling books, who are politicians, who are making careers off of continuing to put you people in prison, making sure black lives don't matter. But that's my thing, is that we got to slay this thing about racism. We got to slay it so people can stop sending their representative as a white progressive. Stop sending your representative, but actually bring your true self forward, which is you want to help a group of people. Don't listen to the people who are hurting them, no matter what color their skin is.
Right, that's so true. And another thing that should go along with that, what you said, was don't buy into the fear of the mainstream media rhetoric, which says that, oh, you have to be afraid of black people because they'll steal this or this. You know how white people, you see a black person and you lock your car door? It's that type of logic. You know, everybody that's black is not trying to steal your car because white people steal cars too. You know what I mean?
And they're supposed
you don't know that though, do you?
But they're supposed to. If I go, listen, hold on. Let's do another example. If I drive to the Appalachian Mountains in a nice car, then got all my nice clothes on, Gucci on my rider, smelling good, looking good, nice shoes, gators on. And I pull up and in the Appalachian Mountains, find the poorest shack, trailer park, whatever community I can find, full of our good white brothers and sisters, and I park that car and I get out acting like I just smell like roses. Those people, and I said those people, I'll probably be in trouble for that, but those people, they are supposed to rob me. They are supposed to take my rims. They are supposed to take my car, and I probably should be beat up for it. Why? Because I showed up in an area where we have a government that keeps impoverished. They keep people living in scarcity. They keep them angry. The laws are constructed to not allow class movement. The laws are constructed to make sure they can't get a license and grow some food or do whatever. They can't harvest their rainwater. They're supposed to hate everything I represent. And so we're making people wild, but we're not expecting them to be wild. And that's what's wrong. And by the same token, so if you pull into a poor Hispanic or black community in a really nice car, looking good, smelling, you're a lawyer, a real estate person, you're supposed to be robbed. And this is why I think we get lost, is we look at them and we say, you're animals. And the answer is, yes, they are. They're supposed to be. They are legislated to be animals. And so they bred that way. If we want to solve that problem, you don't throw them in prison. You know, we got to protect, safety and people that they might be hurting, but we have to make sure that their kid, we have to do what we can to get them out of those conditions. We have to do what we can to make sure their kids don't grow up that way. And that's how you solve problems. You don't solve it with violence, trying to throw them in prison with more legislations and laws. That was my.
And then when it comes down to it, when you bring into the prison and everything, you're talking about families as well now, because it's not just the person that's the criminal complaint or the criminal person or whatever. It's the family that has to suffer as well, because a lot of times there are kids that fall into this category of suffering as well. Because when your father's in jail, the family's suffering because now the mother has to do everything that the father is not there to be able to take care of. So when you talk about the whole scope, this is what people don't realize. When it comes down to the police brutality, criminal justice system, the political prison industrial complex, and all these things,
Right.
This doesn't involve just the individuals like we are led to think. This involves families. This involves communities. So now it's not just the individual pain, but the victims also suffer. So it's like, this is where it goes down like this. The victims, the perpetrators, they suffer, but the families suffer as well. Yep. Because not only sometimes the victims are suffering for certain things and the mental anguish is heavy, but the mental anguish and understanding of the perpetrators and their families suffer as well. Because it's like, if it's a dispute that is civil or social, we should find a way. I mentioned this in a post. I said we should find a way to have a community outreach network to where people don't have to reach out to the police, but they can reach out to their local community to solve some of the issues that are low level on the supposed law scale that we see in the mainstream law. People have to fill out here, right here.
Right. But this by design. It's by design.
No, it is by design.
It doesn't ruin their family on accident. It ruins their family by design. They want that
by design on purpose.
Yes,
it's purposefully. So they do it purposefully. So that it's like people can't get over that hump mentally. So it's like the stress, the depression, they got all these type of things that you can feel, and it takes your energies down. It takes your mentality, your vibrations lower. Yep. We need to have a system set up to where people can feel comforted in the redevelopment of these broken, because I call them, when it comes to crime, I call it broken individuals, because sometimes it's not even broken individuals. People realize this, the system is crooked, and they say, look, if the system is going to be crooked, I'm going to be crooked too, because that's my logic. I worked. When I got out of high school, I went to college, all right? When I went to college, I said, well, maybe this shit ain't for me. Because I realized I needed money, because I'm like at school and I'm broke. But this is all the indoctrinated things I was taught to believe. What's up? I don't know. You got to figure out how to use it. You don't know how to use it yet? But I went to school and I realized this kind of wasn't for me. So I said, all right, I'm going to work. My pop was like, you got to work, man. You need money, you got to work. So I was like, all right, that's easy. I can work. I worked. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm I don't know if I stop doing that. I'm trying to do this. But then I said, all right, why am I paying out of county taxes just because I'm crossing county border lines? So now I got to pay them taxes to come over to their county to work. I said, yo, this is even more schemes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, the government is taxing me. The localities are taxing you. Everybody's taxing me. And then the religion thing hit me, because I was a little bit more religious at the time. So I'm like, Mom, all right, here, take this 10% of my tithe and nickel, my tithe and this and that. So it's like I'm trying to do things the way I was indoctrinated to do it, And then one day I was like, yo, I'm great at sales. I could do this all day, standing on my head and this and that. But this ain't for me. This not for me. I don't want to do this. I'm working for these corrupt organizations and this and that. And I'm like, look, I can't do it too long until I realize that there's something greater. But I didn't realize what was greater because I was still dumb. So I was like, oh, I could do this the easy way. I could sell weed. You know what I mean? I smoke. I was like, oh, I'm going to sell marijuana.
Dad, I think I got it.
No, that's not it. So that's what I chose to do, and that brought me a whole different type of understanding, because when I was doing that, I was on my own time, free, doing whatever I want, did whatever I please, having a little money in my pocket, and I didn't have the government worries at all. Think about, I didn't have no worries from governmental issues or none of, because I never was a credit person, so I knew credit cards were spent from the jump, so I never got credit cards like all my friends. They were swiping away. I'm getting this, yo, Chris, you coming to the store, swiping, and I'm like, you're going to be paying 15% more on that later on down the line. I don't care. I got it now, bro. We were young, though. We were young and uneducated. We were indoctrinated to believe this is the way that it worked. And no, I'm going to get you a different game. You got to go to the game. Get one of these games. Play Dragon River. No. But,
I hate that.
Well, find one of the games you like then. Go over there and play one of the games you like, buddy. Dragon River?
Right. I'm gonna let you go in a minute, man. I'm gonna let you go in a minute so you can get back to being.
Let me finish this point though. What I was saying was, I learned the way I think now is from me taking myself outside of the governmental thinking earlier. I was never one of those that conformed to status quo, conformed to what everybody else was doing, but I observed what everybody else was doing. I imitated some of the things that everybody else was doing as well. But then I realized that wasn't for me either, because I used to wear nice clothes, dress fly, was cool, thought I was, this or that. But I realized that I didn't have to be that. You know what I mean? Because I was just trying to be a representative of what society said we should try to be. You know, and I got broken that way. I got broken to the point of I experienced a whole bunch of different things that affected my life to the point of opening my mind to view things differently. People can't, the type of understanding I have is hard for people to get because you have to experience these things. You know, I've experienced racism. I've experienced the racism to the core of being called nigger and this and that. But it's like, yo, I get it to where it's like I'm not offended at all by racism because I know what it is. It's fake. It's a indoctrinated thing where we're taught to think we have to be divided by color of skin because of all the systematic operations around us. So yes, if you want to say racism is real, fine, but it's not real. It's only real because we allow it to exist by continuously using the logic that it exists.
Right, but it's also a little worse than that. I want to jump in. It's a little worse than that. When you hear that N-word, you know, and first of all, most of us grew up where that was our second name. All my friends were, and I was too. That's just how you talk to each other, unfortunately. But the point is,
that's my homie, you know?
Right, but you're indoctrinated to actually think that you are this word, right? You were given this word in slavery, and you were indoctrinated. And so when you get offended when you hear that word, here's the really sick thing. When you get offended when you hear that, it's because psychologically you actually think you are.
You're a slave.
That's the scary part. Right. That's the scary part. When you're not offended by that, then you understand how great you are. You understand that you're not, you know, even affiliated with the nonsense that happened in slavery and the mindsets that brought about, you know, these words. And so, so it's deeper than that. But the indoctrination, it's psychological and it's deeply rooted. And another thing you touched on, which was the prison system. We could spend all day on that. We might have to do a whole separate discussion.
We got to do a whole episode on that.
But you know, too much on that. It's designed that way, and this is where the people on the right know what they're talking about when they're talking about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. When government, you know, brought in these ideas, which you talked about last night, the social engineering, when they brought in these ideas that, well, if you surrender some of your rights, we can make a better place for you. We can make a better world for you. We can give you welfare. And they knew what they were going to do with this a long time ago. You know, going back to the 13th Amendment and the prison industrial complex. They shut off welfare. They designed it to make you need it and addicted to it. They designed it to make sure your kids were addicted to it. And so it all plays itself out. And so when your man goes to prison, the father of your kids, because he's actually growing medicine for other people and trying to make a business out of healing people who need medicine, call it cannabis if you want, they throw him in prison. Now mom can't support the 4 kids on her own. She goes on welfare. In order to be on welfare, you got to check certain boxes. You got to be certain ways. You got to take in the label. Not only that, but they tell you you get more money if you have more kids. And then it becomes a survival thing. And so, and this is where the right, but this is where the right is wrong. The extreme people on the right, you're lazy and you don't want to get a job and none of that is true. People are indoctrinated to actually need these systems. It's become a survival mechanism. The same way you want to get a gun, grow food, and go hide in a bunker, they're learning how to survive in a system through welfare and all the screws that come back and hit you in your taxes. And so both sides have to take it down to a root cause level and look at who is behind all of this. Who is destabilizing families with the prison industrial complex and welfare, taking your guns? They're all the same people who are playing you against each other all the time. And so
all the time. And that's how they win, and that's how they have won in the past. That's how they continue to win now, and that's how they win in the future. But I want to just touch on this, the lazy thing. There's no such thing as lazy. You know, that's another word that has been created to divide us up from each other. So it's like, oh, you don't work, you're lazy. You don't do this, you're lazy. And it's no such thing as lazy. Because honestly, we have no right to tell another person if they're lazy or productive or whatever. You know, that's not our right to tell somebody what they're doing. You know, our means to live is not to judge others, but help others. You know, not to critique others in the way that we're telling them what's wrong about them, but we're helping others by educating them to what they maybe can do differently. You know, so it's not like, oh, I heard of the lazy thing. I tried to think about it deep, and I'm like, there ain't no such thing as lazy. Who is the one who made up what's lazy and what's not lazy? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, because I'm a stoner, so it's like, oh, stoners are lazy and it's not. I'm like, wait, stoners are some of the most productive people I know, honestly. And especially when it comes to thinking. Stoners are some of the most productive thinkers that I know. Some of the most critical thinkers that I know are stoners. And when I realized these labels that we, like you said earlier, the nigger, or sorry, I said it kind of harsh, ER or something. Sorry, y'all, I ain't even do it like that, though. But the N-word has been used to take our power away from us. Yeah. Because now we give power to slavery when we say, oh, I'm offended. This white person called me nigger. I'm offended. Oh, my God. I'm going to kill this white. People got killed over the word nigger. Think about this. Think about how stupid this is. People died over the word, the N-word. People, and it's like, yo, when are we going to stop this madness? Yeah. This stuff is all made up to divide us. So the N-word is a word that's made to cause division 300 years later. Right. Say it to me, I'm a laugh. Because it don't mean nothing. This is why I realize words, almost all words are meaningless.
They are.
They're created to create more division and more confusion than what we need. People don't need many words. What'd you say?
We give those words meaning.
Yeah. We give those words meaning when we could. That's why I started to realize, like, the English language is somewhat of a spell. Because where we come from as people is not the English language. That's where you have to first understand this. English wasn't the original language of the people. We don't know, honestly, what the original language of the people were. But when it comes to communicating as people, you don't need much words to communicate. You need more or less actions.
Actions.
Okay? Actions of love, actions of concern, actions of compassion. If people talk less and acted more, we would see a lot of change happening, Brother G. But people like to talk more and act less, I see. And this is my Facebook people, too. I be like, yo, these motherfuckers on Facebook funny as shit. They want to tell you what you know and what you don't know. And I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, like, what is these people doing in their life? Like, I would love to see some of the people in their daily life. You know what I mean? And then, like, I'm gonna take some daily life. I'm gonna take a camera with me and just go around one day and just show people what I do. You know what I mean? How I interact with people. And it's like, we need to show people how they should be interacting with people. That's why I think it needs to happen. We need to show people by example of what it means to interact with people freely, without labels, without looking at someone with prejudiceness, without looking at someone with hate in their eyes. You know, we have to interact in a way that is with love. Yeah. We have to talk in a way that is with love. We can't talk with the spells that say, oh, you're ugly, you're pretty, this and that, because that's division. Even something simple like that. You know, we, like you said earlier, or what we were talking about earlier, we have to stop sending out representatives. We have to start sending out the true people of who we are.
Yeah, the true people of who we are, and learning the true people of who the other side is.
Other people are.
And, and this is why there's always a play on word. There's always these talking points that screw people up. And so I think about the Occupy movement, wherein they were fighting against the big banks and the corporations and the people who were actually, they had it right. And so the slogan that people brought out was, get a job, bum, get a job, you know, do something productive with your life. Take an action, do something, right? Because that's that whole rat race mindset that's dominating the whole world, that's destroying everything, you know. But they give us these talking points. And so then there are people who say, well, you're just on the internet talking. You're just on the internet. I'm acting. I'm a protester. I'm protesting. But this is how we.
What market that you going to, lady?
Right, exactly right. We get screwed, and so I ask the question: well, what did you protest? You know, who showed up to the protest? Who
led the protest?
Was it effective? right? Did the people who are causing all the problems in the world organize the protest? Are they saying the same things? When you stand in a fight and the person next to you is saying something that is in line with the elite and the rulers and the people who own us, then maybe you're on the wrong side. But I think these things are used against us. And so to me, in terms of what's wrong with the entire world, like I don't view any of this as politics. I hate politics. To me, when you start killing people, taking their rights, taking their land, destroying their water, to me, none of that's politics. That's human rights. And so for me, we have to get to a place where we can actually solve something, but now is not the time to act. Now is the time to understand. Looking for that corporation.
Real talk.
It might be what's keeping us here. You building up your retirement, that actually might be. Friends know you, but you're on Periscope, you're on YouTube now. Do you have pages over there too?
I do, but I don't really do. I suck at technology, so I was like, I'm trying to get my technology thing right. But it's deprogram and reprogram 101 on YouTube, I think. But outlet on the Cast network thing, and I'm still trying to get up to date on that stuff. But
we need to get
we got a fireland to understand other groups of people.
Yes.
The era that we're in now is about understanding. And don't be thinking division. Think love. You did think love. It's not hard to do, but it's hard to do. When it's hate all around, it's hard to do.
It's love. Martin Luther King had the last word. It is all about love. All right, brother.